Before we get into Emergent and AI, how was your childhood where you grew up?
When we were born in Chandigarh, grew up in Noida. One day I'd asked my dad to get us a game CD and he got a C++ programming CD and said, "Ab jo bhi game chahiye wo bana lo."
So one word for AI.
Magic. NIT Allahabad actually is the first college that got internet.
In the India?
Yeah.
So what was the first impression when you entered in the university?
People told me, okay, there is going to be ragging. You have to get your hair shaved. Those were the rules, right? And I was like, I will not do it.
ये bug कहाँ से आया? मतलब first time when you thought कि I'll become an
So you're working in a very good reputed company, Google, and you have done your masters as well. तो startup का idea कैसा है? काफी लोगों का ना रेबल होने की वजह से बहुत झगड़ा भी होता है. तो ऐसा कोई इंस्टेंस कि आपका कुछ झगड़ा वगैरह हुआ हो? नहीं.
बहुत झगड़े होते हैं.
Then जो happened?
Yeah, I was a CTO and co-founder. Yes.
Talent reach तो हम लोग AI में भी हैं क्या?
India is very talented.
1 to 10 scale where you see India.
Well, I would say probably 6.
One fear you don't say publicly.
There's a strong possibility that like you have a rogue AI where you have Combinator, we have Matrix, like all of those things are like really, really likely and possible.
Today on Not Just Business, our guest is Mukund Jha, co-founder of Emergent. Emergent is a vibe coding platform where users simply enter prompts to build fully functional website and applications. No coding skill required. Incredibly, the company hit 100 million ARR in just 8 months of its launch. Emergent also raised more than 100 million in just 4 months. In this episode, we will talk about Mukund's personal journey, the risk he took, and the challenges he faced while building at that scale. Mukund, welcome to the Not Just Business.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
It must be a busy day for you. There is a hackathon in IT Delhi.
Yes. Today is a little bit relaxed as compared to rest of the summit, but we are doing this massive hackathon at IT Delhi. A lot of people are there. Very excited.
Okay. So before we get into Emergent and AI,
Yes.
We would like to get into your early days. How was your childhood, where you grew up and all?
Right. So I was actually, so we are triplets. So I have a brother and a sister. I'm doing the startup with my brother, twin brother, and Madhav. Yeah, and three of us, we were born in Chandigarh, grew up in Noida. So, from first class to 10th class we was here. And obviously all summer vacation we would go back to Bihar for, to meet our grandparents. Those were like time when the time will slow down, right? When you go to summer vacations, you will see, like the mango trees and all of those things. Then I went to Bangalore for 11th, 12th.
How did this happen, Bangalore, from Delhi to Bangalore? Because
my
very
dad,
young age.
My dad was actually, he was actually like a student of IIT Kanpur. He got ranked 92 in IIT.
Great.
And he is from a very poor family in Bihar, with a lot of sisters that he had to sort of get married. And coming from a really poor family, he was one of those kids who used to study under the street light lamp, and sort of took the whole family out of poverty. And so he was an electronics engineer. He went to SCL in Chandigarh. That's where he was working. And then he got a new job in Bangalore. That's where we went to Bangalore for that. And so a lot of our inspiration has been through our father. Like that, like the way he sort of, grew up. He's also very spiritual. So we had the spiritual bent, good, strong values. Very middle class story. We had, one scooter where, all 5 kids so 2 of us will stand in the front, and mom will take the sister at the back. And so we grew up like with this like very strong values, very strong focus on studies. Although I was not the most studious person, but like there was a lot of focus in the family on learning and getting the basics right. We also got access to computer very early. Like I think it was 95, 96 when we got the first computer. We were the only house in the whole society which had internet. And I remember very early on, like I used to be into playing games. I used to sort of, and one day I'd asked my dad to get us a game CD. He used to go to US a lot, and he got us a C++ programming CD. And said, "Ab jo bhi game chahiye wo bana lo," right? Like, and that's how sort of our journey started at age 12, in programming. Me and Madhav. So we would be staying up all night building new games all day, and it was actually really good that we got exposure on internet and programming pretty early on. I think early exposure, like if you find your true passion, your love early on in life, that really helps you, hone in your skills and build towards that. And I think that sort of, is, leading to the journey where we are today, right? Like
Interesting.
automating the whole software engineering that we are sort of on the mission to right now. Right. Started with that, programming that first game, on this compact
At the age
PC.
of 12, right?
At the age of 12.
So
yes.
how was the competition at home? Because you were triplet, right?
Yes.
And father had such a great background. So I think competition must be at top-notch level. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was obviously expectation, and mother was a class topper.
Okay.
And
You were in the same class?
Same class.
Okay.
Same
so
school?
Same school, same class.
Sister?
Same section. I think for
All of
many
three?
parts, same section.
Oh.
Right? Some parts we were in different sections. And mother was class topper, and like I was probably maybe 8th, 9th, 10th, that kind of person. And I think till 6th and 7th class, it was mostly you had to mug things up, and so we were not very good at it. But after 8th class, suddenly, we, both mother, me, and Bharti, all three of us, became really good students, because that's where you have to really apply your knowledge and study and understand fundamentals.
So माधव ने इंस्पायर किया आपको थोड़ा और
हाँ, I think थोड़ा inspiration था.
7-8 में of course your brother is
right.
class topper and you were 8-9 positions.
Right. And we used to fight also a lot. We used to rank ला रहा है.
Okay.
हमें सुनने को मिलता है. Right.
सो योर स्कूलिंग आपकी बिहार में ही हुई थी?
नहीं, in Noida.
इन नोएडा। तो कब आए बिहार से नोएडा आप?
So I was never in Bihar.
Okay.
So I was born in Chandigarh.
Okay.
And I came to Noida.
Mhm.
My parents are from Bihar.
Okay.
So they migrated to Noida when he got a job.
Okay.
So Bangalore 12th happened because your father got a job
Yeah,
there.
he was working in Synopsys.
Okay.
So he went there. And 11th, 12th we were in Bangalore.
All of three.
All three of us.
Mhm.
And then I went to NIT Allahabad. And Madhav was in IT BHU, so we were very close by. So we would spend summer vacation together, hacking again on some project or the other things. So lot of fun time during those college days, just building. We remember that at that time C# was the language that was popular, and Visual Studio was one that was building, and we would try to build some new startup idea during the summer vacation. We were also a lot into AI at that time. AI was very, very new at that time. Like people used to call it NLP and machine learning. So we used to program a lot of those things. I was mostly into speech recognition at that time. So built a lot of speech recognition software.
Which year it was, circa?
This was 2006, 2007.
When you got into NIT?
Yeah.
So how was the experience in Allahabad? A very different setup because you've been, you grew up in
NIT
Noida and
Allahabad
Bangalore.
also had this really cool stuff that NIT Allahabad actually is the first college that got internet, right? And one of the only colleges
In the India?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was also the first college that introduced computer science as a course. Right? And
I didn't know this.
yeah, I was actually also surprised to see that. I mean, I think the infrastructure was not that great.
Now, Allahabad has always been a center of knowledge. If
Yes.
you look at, before 1970s or 80, Allahabad has a great importance in North India.
Right.
So I think most of the IS in those days used to be churned from
I
Allahabad.
see.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it also has like a good.
Allahabad
political
University has a
culture.
different
Allahabad
aura.
University, exactly.
तो वहाँ
we
का
used to be
experience-
scared going there.
वहाँ इलाहाबाद थोड़ा माहौल
But we were always in the campus,
Okay.
so it didn't matter much.
Hmm.
And so good thing was it had internet. Like one of the few colleges at that time, even IITs didn't have internet.
Hmm.
But we had internet. We had this software called DC++.
Hmm.
That people could share, like videos and mostly pirated stuff. You could actually go
कुछ
and
ऐसी
download.
जगह जो outside campus हो which you still remember in Allahabad.
Civil lines like
That is
can
kind
go
of
and have
Southex
and,
Southex of
yeah, very boring place, right? But I think, good thing about these places is that you'll make like lifelong friends, or you'll build very deep relationships, and of course, we had.
So what was the first impression when you entered in the university, if you can remember?
I was actually very. I would say, I was like a leader, a political leader almost in college.
Okay.
I remember the first day, people told me, okay, there's going to be ragging. You have to wear white shirt.
Hmm.
You have to, you have to get your hair shaved.
Hmm.
And, those were the rules.
Hmm.
Right? I was like, I will not do it. Right? Let's see what happens.
Hmm.
So first few days I was just the rebellious, right? And then I remember that. I think first month or something, I actually rallied everybody in the first year that okay, let's boycott this thing.
Ragging thing.
Ragging and I mean we got into a lot of trouble, right? But I was able to charge up everybody in the hostel that okay, we will boycott, we will not do this, we will not do that,
Hmm.
and I've always had this,
So leadership quality वहाँ से develop होनी शुरू हो गया था almost.
I think so. I was naturally
because this is a gutsy call for a
first year student,
to
yeah.
rally people and go against
कुछ
seniors.
हुआ था. I think somebody got slapped by somebody.
Okay.
And then I got really pissed.
कैसे मार दिया?
And I think people from Bihar has more political orientation. I think that's also sort of in a cultural thing.
Maybe, I don't know, but I was just generally good at inspiring people to see a point of view. And I would just, I remember we used to have a tree in the middle of the hostel, and I would just go there, stand and give a speech, and then get people rallied up, and the next day we will not, nobody went to college that day, right? And then there was a lot of commotion.
And these kind of things were unseen in engineering colleges. In likes of JNU and DU, it used to happen. But
Right. I mean, it was not that big blown, but I think my first early impression was that and that's why I got really popular in college very early, right? And made a lot of good friends, my default position is always to ask questions hey, why is it like this? Why should we do this? And I generally don't take things on the face value. I try to understand. And if I don't agree with something, I'm generally not, I would push people that, hey, why is it happening? Why should we do this? Eventually, obviously, the situation got solved amicably. There were multiple such instances that happened over the course of the 4 years in the college. But I think, because of internet, again, there, and us having good access to, computer science labs and other things, I think studies was pretty decent. Although most of our time was going in sports and just chilling. And I think it was third year when I went for internship in Spain.
okay.
And I was the first student again from NIT Laba to go for a foreign internship.
How was the academic thing? It was going very well.
First year was really bad. I was actually not I was not a serious student.
Okay.
So first semester I remember I thought I'm gonna fail, right? And
Okay.
because most of the time we were just chilling.
But it didn't happen.
So
you made through.
Yeah, I got I think 7.6, which was decent and mostly I think subjects where if the questions were application oriented, if where you didn't have to mug things, I would probably do okay well. And where you had to learn something or remember something, those are the places where I would not do that well. But second year, from second year, a lot of the subjects were core computer science, and those were something that I would
And
like.
you had
genuinely.
introduction to computer.
Yeah, I knew computer science from before, so I knew I liked programming, and so I could sort of ace them without studying. So after, I think by the time I graduated, I think I had 8.5 or something, 8.5. So I would have scored probably 9 in few of those semesters to get there. And study-wise, I think in college mostly you sort of learn problem solving, organization. I think those things were sort of more important than just studies for us.
जैसे कि आपने कहा कि आप काफ़ी रेबल थे कॉलेज में कि इकट्ठा करना, स्पीच देनी, ये सब कुछ करना, तो काफ़ी लोगों का ना रेबल होने की वजह से बहुत झगड़ा भी होता है. तो ऐसा कोई इंस्टेंस कि आपका कुछ झगड़ा वगैरह हुआ हो? नहीं,
बहुत झगड़े होते हैं.
बहुत झगड़े होते हैं.
हम लोग आई रिमेम्बर कि काफ़ी सारे
एक आध कुछ बता पाओ, थोड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग.
I remember first year there was I think second year there was we used to do these cultural events, and somebody said ki you guys are not allowed because you guys are only committee people are allowed.
Okay.
So I said okay, committee क्या होता है, चलो let's dissolve this committee now. So we then rallied everyone. And काफ़ी मारपीट भी हुआ था उसमें, committee काफ़ी कुछ होता था हमारे college में. I also remember that हमारा 4th year में placement हुआ था, and that was 2008 when this Lehman Brothers crash had happened. So a lot of people are not getting job, right? And I actually hacked into email servers and send in an email to everybody ki hey, I think I had gotten an offer from Samsung.
Okay.
So I'd actually sent an email to everybody saying ki hey, Samsung is revoking your offers. And then somehow that email reached the head of HOD of the computer science department, right? It's supposed to be a prank, right? But somehow it got spread, and there was a panic, and people called up people in Samsung, and they said, no, we didn't send any email. And somehow they were able to trace it back to me, who has done it, this. And luckily there was a vacation just after that, so I escaped that. But I used to be very mischievous in college.
So in third year, you got internship in Spain.
Yes, third year I got internship. So I
And you were
heard-
the first
I was the
student
first
from-
student in NIT Allahabad to get that. I think probably in most of the NITs.
तो आप पहले तो रैली करके लोगों को फेमस हुए
Right.
एंड देन अगेन
So third year, actually, I heard. So Madhav was in IIT BHU. He got an internship in France.
Okay.
Right. So I heard that okay, सारे IIT के लोग बाहर जाते हैं. मैं कह रही तो अच्छा है, मैं भी जाऊँगा. So and then I asked like, hey, कैसे चलता है, क्या करता है, what is the process? And I mean, one of the things that I've learned in the past and like which is very applicable is that most things in life is number of games, like games of number, right? The more number of attempts you can make, like you'll probably succeed, right? So I said, okay, कितने professors हैं, like college. I scraped, जो आप बोल रहे थे scraper, we wrote a scraper to like scrape all the emails of all the professors in Europe. And then I had automated this email where I was emailing everybody,
एंड यू गॉट दैट सपोर्ट फ्रॉम माधव ओके
I
कैसे
just
चलता है?
got to know that okay,
to-
there is a process. The people apply like this. So then I wrote a resume, wrote email. I think I sent like 3,000 emails automatically.
3000 email for
3,000
internship
emails for internship to.
and you
like,
got offer
I got
from?
2 offers.
Oh,
right. एक स्विट्जरलैंड में था, एक
So
स्पेन
guys,
में
you
था.
could get the conversion percentage.
नहीं,
2 out of 3000.
हाँ, I mean like and this is a fully paid internship, right? Like we must. have
And
got-
in those days, getting paid internship was
very
really
hard.
difficult.
Yeah, and mostly like IT folks were getting right, and so I just wanted to make sure that like that people know that okay, this is possible, and you can actually do that. And Spain was really fun. Like we it was mostly like. I was staying with a person from IIT Guwahati, and like his gang was all over the Europe. So we would just take this Ryanair flight. Ryanair was the cheap flight.
Okay.
For $20 you can get flight from we were in Valencia to Rome to Paris to Amsterdam. So the summer was completely like Euro trip, like, and it was really fun for us.
सो व्हाट वाज द क्राइटेरिया कि मतलब जो आप इंटर्नशिप के लिए कहाँ जहाँ सेंड कर रहे हो
Right.
तो वो अगर कोई जैसे आईआईटी का स्टूडेंट है या कोई और स्टूडेंट है जो मतलब अपनी एप्लीकेशन भेजना चाहता है तो उसको क्या क्या चेक मार्क्स होने चाहिए एक्सेप्ट करवाने के लिए अपनी एप्लीकेशन
I think you need to have a little bit of research background or a little bit of work that you have done.
Okay.
Right. So I had done some work before that, and so I was able to highlight that work. I was able to like find out कि अच्छा what. So I was doing work in speech recognition then. So whoever were people who are doing work in speech, I would read up their paper and write something for them. And it's actually probably now it's much easier with AI.
Yeah.
You can actually automate a lot of these things. But I feel that a lot of people in NIT and other colleges were not even trying.
Yeah.
Right? Like they didn't even know ki, hey, like you can actually apply and go outside and build your profile.
Yeah.
And I think having that exposure really helped me, like saying that okay, nothing is impossible once I know that okay, like.
And what was the
this will be
stipend?
done. What was the?
Stipend.
I think stipend was like $2,000 a month or something. Very good stipend. Actually, first
Yeah,
time they actually like they
It's
said
like
that
a-
we will not give you stipend, we will refund you money.
Okay.
तो हम लोग जहाँ भी जाते थे सुपर मार्केट we will just pick up the bills, right? And then we gave them like first week we gave them like a really big bill. They said oh ये तो बहुत ज़्यादा है, आप stipend ले लो, refund नहीं करेंगे.
तो
Okay.
इससे पहले आप पहले भी गए हुए थे आउटसाइड कंट्री
I mean we had been to Austria when we were kids.
ओके
Yeah, so I mean like I think when we were like I think 5-year-old,
So-
we stayed a year in Austria.
So 2008, you got placed.
2009 is when 2009 we got placed.
So at that time the market was really bad.
Market was really
Market
bad.
crash, Lehman Brothers
yeah,
happened,
yeah,
a kind of great depression of this century.
Right.
So how did you able to get, and what was there a panic from employer point of view?
I think there was a lot of panic, right? But my plan was always to do PhD because Madhav was going for PhD. I said, okay, I will also go for PhD. I was just following him. So Madhav had gone for PhD, and I was also applying for PhDs. And I remember I had just come back from Spain with internship. I gotten like a lot of gifts for a lot of friends, and everybody was sitting for placement exams. And I said कि मेरे को तो बैठना ही नहीं है, right? क्या करूँगा बैठ के? Like I want to do PhD. Anyways, I'll apply for colleges, and then like I had to write somebody else's exam, right? कि वो नहीं जा, like he didn't like. I said okay, चल मैं लिख दूँगा, and for some reason like I remember that like I was supposed to write for him, but then some proctor came, so I had to write my name, and then I got selected into this company. And I had like I think there were 10 questions. I had written only like there was only one tough question there, And so I just wrote the answer for that. Rest 8 I sort of left empty, and nobody else could solve that problem. So that company called me. I think it was Samsung, and then they took an interview, and then I got placed.
Okay.
And but I was always like thinking that okay, I'll probably go abroad and like study, and so I didn't sit for exams after that. But when I went to US, the first thing like.
You went to US for Samsung or?
No, for PhD.
Okay.
Right?
So after Samsung, you worked with Samsung or not?
I didn't work. After college, I
You
just
passed
went to
the
US
offer.
directly.
Yeah.
Right. And first day I land, and usually you stay with seniors because they sort of accommodate you. And I was asking them, what is it like? And they said, nobody has a job, nobody has internship. You'll have to work really, really hard, right? And I was pretty panicked that okay, like I did not realize the recession because I was not like in the job market that time. But when I went to US, I realized okay, what is recession and like what's happening in the job market. And I think like first semester of my US college, I was in Columbia University, was the hardest I've worked in my life ever. Right, like I was a 4.4 GPA, which is the highest GPA you can get. I wrote like 3 research papers. I had like 4 really, really hard courses, and because I was a little scared, right? Like, okay, what's going to happen? This whole job market is like that, and I also realized that standard of study in US is like really high, right? Like I think in India, like you could like get by, you just study on the last minute, get there, but US had this continuous that you had to submit some papers, submit some coursework, right? And but that semester was like the time I probably worked the hardest.
So you see the difference between the standard of education in India and the US. Right?
Yeah, I mean. It was
because
very
of
different.
more honesty and
I think just the standard of teachers and like professors and like like they would focus a lot on, and in India also there are subjects like that that like.
Do you think still the case is the same? US has, because that's the perception.
I mean, I definitely think that there'll be like a lot of differences, right? I think,
and that is mostly because of faculty.
I think
and
courses,
resources and infrastructure.
Yeah, resources. I think seriousness. Like I think. Like I think there people take study lot more seriously, right? Especially the master, the graduate students, right? Like they would probably take, and also there's a lot of freedom there, right? You can choose the courses that you want, right? I feel that India, like at least in NITs, the curriculum was very like locked down, like like you could do only these things.
Yeah.
I generally think that people should have a lot of freedom to choose what they want to read and study, and I think that would be really good for education.
Apart from the faculty and the infrastructure, what is the major difference between Indian colleges and US colleges?
I think the focus is a lot more on application and coursework and learning through doing
practical
things versus like theoretical. Yeah.
In India, we stress a lot on theory.
Lot on theory, lot of things.
Because in our school days, I also pursued science in 12th. So we never seen teacher demoing something or doing something, showing you practically.
Right.
So we understood force or everything in a different world, because there was no example given to us.
Right.
If somebody has demonstrated example, तो ज़्यादा difference.
कि याद कर लो, रट्टा मार लो. This is more important than application of things.
Right.
So we are trained for exams, I guess.
Yeah, we're trained for exams. I feel like a lot of people, they don't. I think before people can process what's happening, right? They're just like pushed into the system, right? Like, and you just see what the other person is doing. You start doing that, right? You don't know like why are you studying, like like why do you need to get marks? I just think that the societal construct gets created around you before, like, as a kid you get matured, right? You
so
understand
masters
why.
you completed in 10, 11.
What one?
Masters when you were doing
In US?
Columbia.
And 2011 is when I graduated, yes.
11.
So I actually went for PhD, dropped out of the PhD program. I actually did my first internship. I got like, because I worked so hard, I actually got like 5-6 internships by the end of the first semester. And Google was one of them. And so I went to Google, and I was actually doing like PhD research on machine learning, some social network mining. And I realized that whatever research I was doing, Google had already done that like 2 years back. And so I said, okay, like what's the point of me doing this research?
This is the main reason of avoiding PhD.
Doing PhD. Yeah, then I actually really liked working in Google, like extremely enjoyed, because the work was really good, people were really good, like a lot of freedom. And the team I was working was like really high caliber team, and they had like a lot of compute, a lot of data, like not today's GPU compute, but like even back then you could spin up to 1,000 computers. And so I really liked it so much that I told my advisor, hey, look, I'm not coming back. I just like working in Google, and I'm just going to stay here. And,
So you stayed in US for a
Yeah, so I stayed in Google for a while, and then she said, okay, why don't you come back, finish your masters, then graduate at least. I said, okay. Then I came back for 1 semester, finished my graduation, and then I graduated, and then I really wanted to live in New York, because I really like the city. Columbia University.
You were there, in fact. You started.
Yeah,
your
Columbia
company.
University is in New York, and so for internship I went to California. And then I came back to New York. I really liked it. So Google didn't have a team. I wanted to only work on search ranking. So I told them, hey, I'll come only if you have a team here in search. And luckily they were opening like a small, one of the senior person had moved from California to New York. So there was a small team. So I got into that team. And that work was also really, really good because we were like very small team which was working on core Google search ranking, right? So when you type something in Google, what result shows up where? And there also I was very rebellious. I was like, hey, why are we not doing this? Why are we doing this? This is stupid. That is we should do more of this. And I mean, I remember first year, people were
so any, breakthrough thing or significant thing you did at Google which you want to talk about?
Many things. I don't know what all I can talk about. But for example, there is this knowledge panel on the side. Like when you search for something, I was involved in that. I was involved in a lot of optimization of bunch of real-time search we were building, bunch of news search we were building, and many things I don't remember now, but many things also I don't know if I can talk about.
And how long that stint was?
That was about 3.5 years.
After that, you started a company there?
Yes, after that I started a company there.
Before we get into that, I heard that your father was also tried his hands at entrepreneurship.
Yes.
What was that?
So actually it was 2007, and I think he was a director in Cadence at that time, and he left that and he started his own company. It was a services company, and I remember I had just seen iPhone, right? And I came back from Spain, right? And actually one of my reasons to go to Spain was that I wanted to buy an iPhone. It had just come out. Unfortunately I couldn't because iPhones were locked at that time. You couldn't get it carrier unlocked. So I came back to India. I told my dad, look, don't do anything else. Let's just build iPhone apps. That'll be the next big thing. And we should just and we debated a lot. And he said, oh, I don't have any computer science. I said, okay, I'll do it for you. And so we started building apps. But then he got comfort in he was electronics chip designer. So he had some contracts there, and eventually the company became sort of services company for electronics chip design. That's what he started building. But I still sort of look back on those days and say, hey, we had this mega trend that we had caught. And
so how was your first startup doing in New York, and what was it?
So my first startup in New York was, so I always wanted to do a startup. So at some point I got little agitated.
ये bug कहाँ से आया? मतलब first time when you thought कि I'll become an.
No, you were working in a very good reputed company, Google, and you have done your masters as well. तो startup का idea कैसा है फिर?
Sometime in school days, probably 11th, 12th, I learned that I mean, two inspiration. One was Bill Gates. Somebody told me that Bill Gates is the richest person in the world, right? And because we were also from a middle class family, we had Maruti 800, right? So
luxury in those days.
Luxury in those days, right? And we would when I heard, okay, the richest person in the world is somebody who is created himself by building software, right? I was like, okay, this is what I would want to do, right? I would definitely want to build software and become the richest person in the world. Why not? So that was the first thing. Second thing was mostly Steve Jobs, right? So I clearly remember seeing the iPhone launch and some of his old Macintosh launch and stuff. And I was really inspired that, okay, this is what I want to do. Right? Can I bring technology to the world? And so that bug had always been there.
Any inspiration from India?
At that point, no.
Because you were mostly oriented in software and computers.
Right. And I think having access to information was really big, right? Because we could look up things on internet. There was no YouTube, but you could chat on Yahoo forums and things like that. And I mostly looked up to Steve Jobs a lot. Right.
So what was the first startup?
First startup we did was so that time my first startup actually was a deep learning startup. Right? We were building deep learning infrastructure. 2012-13 was when AlexNet had come out, and I picked up two of the smartest people I knew in Google and said, okay, look, deep learning is going to be big. Let's build. Nobody knows how to do it. Let's build an infrastructure to do that. And three of us. So I left the job. They didn't leave the job. They said, okay, we will be in Google, and like we'll do part time. I said, okay, doesn't matter. Let's figure out. And you have to figure out the visa because like I was on H1B, so so I had to like convince. I don't know if you can say that, but I had to convince a friend in hedge fund to sort of sponsor my visa and a bunch of those things to make sure I was able to do a startup. So eventually, like we started, but these two people left after that. So I was the only person doing this deep learning platform. So I abandoned that, found another co-founder, and that time there was Coursera, which was doing this massively online courses, and then there was like Udemy, which was doing like more peer-to-peer, and we were trying to create a group class in the middle, where can you do group education, and obviously like I think most entrepreneurs get fascinated by education. Hey, let's solve education. Education is a big problem. And like we were also, eaten by that bug that, hey, can we solve world education? And started looking at that, started building it, and then realized, okay, nobody wants to buy group classes. So we started selling to universities as a webinar tool, right? And became like a very enterprise sort of sales. And at one point we raised some money. And at some point we realized that, okay, we were here to change education, change the world. And here we are selling B2B software, right, to universities. So 6 months we just shut it down and gave the software for free. And I think that software is still running in some universities. And then I started another company called Habit, which was in habit tracking, right? And we had one of these behavioral science professors in Stanford who was working with us on how do we sort of activate behavioral traits in people. Again, extremely hard problem. I think now with AI, I think both these problems can be revisited, right? But at the same time, I got married, so moved back to India, and I was thinking I can manage team from remotely, and so I had an engineering team in New York, like, and I was trying to manage.
It was ahead of the time. Abhi time aaya uska shayad.
I think ab ban sakta hai. I think it's a very hard problem, but I think so. Like we were looking at a lot. We had built an app which can track a lot of things for you, and like based on your tracking signals, it'll give you some notification, bunch of those things.
So that worked out or fizzled out?
Fizzled out, right. And also because I was in India, it was getting really hard to manage the team.
It was 2015,
2015, yeah, 14, 15.
And then Dunzo happened. Right?
Then Dunzo happened, yeah. After that, I was like...
You were the co-founder and looking after technology.
Yes. CTO.
Yeah, I was a CTO and co-founder, yes.
Sure. So when you came back to India, 2016?
I came back to 2014.
And your marriage, love marriage or arranged marriage?
It was sort of arranged come love,
Okay.
right? So my parents introduced us over email, and
that was a very fancy thing, introducing on email, I guess.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, we'll chat sometime, and then of course never replied. No, she didn't reply. I didn't reply, right?
Okay.
And to that email. So my dad put all both of us an email. And then one fine night I came back from a party, and I thought, okay, like, I was a bit drunk, so I thought, okay, who can I chat with? There is nobody online. So I saw her online, so I just pinged her.
Okay.
Hey, what's up? And
Was it on Facebook or WhatsApp? Or?
I think it was Google chat or something. Or maybe it was Facebook, I don't remember. And then we started chatting, right? And then sort of, and then of course, then there was like series of phone calls, and I was also in the middle of doing a startup at that time. And
you got married in 14, 15?
14.
Okay. And you got married in Delhi only?
Got married in Noida, yes. Right. Great. So then we had to break the surprise to our parents that, hey, look, you introduced us long back, and like,
they didn't know.
No, they didn't know. They didn't know.
How long it
6
went
months.
on?
6 months.
6 months.
Yeah. So we dated for 6 months on and off, and then
And she was also in Delhi.
She was in, I think, Bangalore at that time.
And what was her background like? What like?
Yeah, she was doing MBA from IMT Ghaziabad, and then she was in Infosys. She was an HR leader there. So that's when we sort of got connected.
Nice.
Okay, so now cutting all through. Now come to Emergent.
Right.
So when did you guys, your brother Madhav,
right,
when you thought about it, doing Emergent, and I think there is a very good story behind it. I think I read somewhere. I think you tweeted or somebody wrote about. You were thinking about it and you thought
I mean, there may be a lot of variations of the stories, but so Madhav and I have been trying to do a startup for a long time, right? And even when I was in Dunzo, like, we would spend a lot of time on phone. Oh, what is next? What's going to happen? And when we saw ChatGPT, and in fact, like, we were like, because my first startup was deep learning, right? Like, I had actually been watching the field very closely for a while. And 2016 there is this paper that came out called Sentiment Neuron, right? 2016 is really old, right? So when for the first time a general system was able to beat like a specific state-of-the-art system in machine learning, and that was a wake-up call for us. Like, we were like, oh shit, like we were not expecting this will happen so soon. And like when we saw that, we were like, okay, like something's gonna change very soon. Let's keep a close watch. And when ChatGPT, just before ChatGPT actually, GitHub Copilot came, right? Like it came right before ChatGPT launch. And when Copilot came, Stable Diffusion came at the same time. And it's almost felt like that, okay, now, and Dunzo was also sort of winding down at that time. It almost felt like, okay, this is the right time to do something, because we knew that there is a, like a fundamental shift coming in the space. And you could see that, okay, that the shift is almost here now, right? It's going to happen anytime soon. So we started thinking about like what would world look like if AI could do a lot of things, and that time
when this thinking process was happening, you were in Bangalore and he was in.
Yeah, he was in SF and I was in Bangalore. So but we would spend a lot of time on phone, and we thought of a lot of ideas, and we were like, okay, this idea is like, okay, $5 billion idea, like it's too boring, let's not do it. Like this idea seems too safe. Like and we would sort of brainstorm what would be like most exciting, most challenging problem for us to sort of solve, right? And I remember like I was in US after Dunzo. I went to US for a while, and we would spend a lot of time with Anthropic folks and OpenAI folks and sort of meet them. Like a lot of my friends were there now, ex-Google folks, and we sort of got a sense of like, like when people are talking about AGI, when people are talking about reinforcement learning working, like when they're talking about that coding data mixture is going to be very important to the new set of models. It became very clear that the coding ability of the models are going to improve very significantly, exponentially, right? So we were very focused on thinking about that as a space. Also, given our software engineering background, like, it almost felt like our calling to sort of, go and automate all of the software engineering, because that is a job that we know the closest, right? And like really, really hard. I also like at some point got very frustrated with Dunzo in engineering that things are moving really slow. And things that I would think would happen really fast would take a lot of time, so at that time I was like, okay, like we should just take the goal of automating all of software engineering, and that's how we started thinking about Emergent. And our first idea was that we will automate testing, right? So only like can we test mobile app, web app, and I remember this was in 23.
Like Wingify.
I mean, probably like browser stack, Lambda test, like something like that, yeah. And we went to a lot of investors. We told them, hey, we want to, build an agent. That time, nobody knew what an agent was. All right, we said, okay, we're going to build an agent which can automate software testing, because 40% of software cost today is testing. Like like it's very hard and it's a slow process. And now AI is getting there where you can actually use the visual. And I had built this demo in like 2 days, right? Like where you record a video of testing an app and you upload that video. I think that demo must be somewhere.
That was the first thought, but you immersed as a full stack model, right?
Yeah.
Right
so we started with that. So the demo was that you upload a video for testing, and the AI will actually write the code of testing and actually test your application. And we sort of went to a lot of VCs. A lot of people didn't believe us that this was going to happen. Like people are worried. Okay, what happens if like browser stack comes in, or like those kind of things.
So you approach Indian VC or foreign VC?
Mostly Indian VCs, but global VCs.
Global VC.
Yeah.
And they rejected almost.
Most of them, yes. And a few of them did give us some term sheet. But to us it was very clear that, okay, look, technology is going to be there very soon, right? But it was very hard for us to convince people that, like one, that, I mean, they thought technology risk was very big.
That is the most difficult part when you, try to convince investor with a prototype or with a initial wireframe of the.
Do you remember your first pitch? Like what was the experience? How they react?
I mean, actually things happened very fast for us. Okay. Like, so we actually chatted with a friend, said that, hey, I'm starting a new company in AI, and do you want to invest? And he said, okay, I'll invest, right? And like this is the terms. We sort of texted the terms to each other, right? And
who was that investor, if you want to
I mean, I can't name, but so I mean, like I was chatting with him, and then he said, okay, I'll invest and stuff like that. And we were sort of still discussing the terms, right? So I called another friend of mine, Prasanna. He's the CTO of Rippling, right? He's an advisor in Emergent. So I told him, look, dude, we're gonna do this, and and we had been chatting about doing some startup together for a while. And I asked him that, what should I do? He said, okay, like if you have a term sheet, you have to just go meet everybody really quick now, right? Like go. So like I packed all my fundraise meeting in 1 week. And like morning, evening, like I was doing like 5 calls, like maybe 3-4 calls a day. And like overnight we built a pitch, and we just went out and I think like we were trying to raise a lot of money. Like we were trying to raise like I think 7 million, 5 million at that point. Right? And we would have said probably 3 million, 4 million probably.
With only the testing thing or?
Just testing thing.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
I mean, it's a huge market, right? It's 40% of software cost, right? And still nobody has solved it. It's still a good idea to sort of pick up and build, right? And
so how did you include the entire full stack model?
Yeah, so I mean, when we then got a couple of term sheet, like eventually took money from Together Fund. Really good idea. I really liked working with them. And then we went to YC, right? So we got into YC. YC also was like like I would split decision for us. Like me and Madhav were chatting, and we were still deciding what do we want to build. And one day, like there was a YC deadline. Madhav really wanted to be in YC, and so he said, okay, today's the deadline. Let's just write an application. We'll go, we'll not go, we'll decide later. But like that, at least force us to do something. I said, okay, fine, let's write an application. So we wrote an application, submitted, and that sort of became the forcing function, like where we had to sort of decide, okay, do we want to really build a company together or not?
Okay.
And so we went to YC, and when we started building testing agent, we realized two things. One, that all the things that we were building for testing agent was actually also required for building general coding agent, right? So we can actually solve software engineering in general. Like we had to build a lot of the infrastructure, a lot of testing infrastructure, a lot of coding, practices. We had to build our own agents. So that was one realization. Second was that we felt that testing was not ambitious enough, right? We could actually build something grander and bigger. So we then pivoted to building general coding agents, saying that, hey, can we...
Which time period?
This was 2024, like September, when we started building coding agents. And in the middle, we were a little bit confused, right? Because we started with testing agent, like I wanted to do something even bigger, right? So I was convincing team that, hey, let's move and do general coding agent. And for a while, we had this idea board, right? Where every month, the idea of the month was this, right? And we'll build some prototype for that and then discard it for some reason. And every month we had a new idea for a while. And then I decided, okay, look, like we have to pick something really, really hard and ambitious and just go for it till it's solved. So we picked up this benchmark called SWE-bench, SWE-bench, which is the benchmark where all the coding agents were getting measured.
Can you define briefly?
Yeah, so this is essentially like 500 GitHub issues. GitHubs are where bugs are filed on open source, right? And the task was that how many of those 500 issues can your agent solve without any human assistance, right? Okay. And at that time, like GitHub was competing on it, like Google, Microsoft, Amazon, OpenAI, everybody was competing on that benchmark. And it was the most difficult benchmark in the world at that time. Now it's saturated, right? But I said, okay, look, what is the most difficult benchmark in the world? Let's just go after that. And so we had like 4 people team and an intern, 5 people team, I think. And we sort of locked ourselves in a room for 2 months. And we said, okay, till this benchmark is done, we'll just work on this. And day in, day out, we were working almost like 16, 18 hours a day.
Can you talk about those 2 months period a little bit?
It was very, very, very enjoyable period for us, because it was just like pure learning, pure like we would just like, I would sleep, and because I was in US at that time, right? So I would actually go to sleep at like maybe 4 a.m. Right? I would probably get up at 8:30 and like just back at my desk, programming, and then I'll be sitting there the whole day, and then like I'll go back to at 4 p.m. So it was just like 24/7. We were just working on that, and that gave us a lot of insights. Like I think like we discovered a lot of fundamental
the same
truth
thing
about
GitHub issue you were trying to fix.
Yeah, SWE-bench. This benchmark was called SWE-bench, and we became world number 1 at the end of 2 months on that.
Okay.
Right,
and you beat all these players, Google and all.
Yeah, so we were world number 1 on that benchmark twice. Right,
and only 5 people.
Only 5 people.
And you were competing with the people who has an army of engineers.
Like, I mean that is the advantage of like having small teams, very focused, and also starting early, right? Like I mean, like if you're early in a field, like you will learn a lot of things, that people.
And what was the reason of that success? Ki 2 mahine mein.
I mean, I just think that we are naturally great at problem solving, right? Okay. Like, and the team that we have been able to assemble, like, is really good at problem solving, and we are very honest about problem solving, right? Like when we don't like, a lot of people like, they'll pick something proxy, they'll try to short change things, and we genuinely like enjoy problem solving. So when we see a hard problem, our eyes lit up, right? Oh yeah, like, and I mean, we are able to generate like thousands of ideas very quickly, right? So we'll like, oh, like these are five ways we'll solve this problem, and then we'll quickly experiment and then realize, okay, this is not going to work. So we'll move to the next one, right? And so general like speed was there.
That too, so that 2 months and the kind of
Yeah.
problem, GitHub problem you
Yes.
solved.
Yeah.
So I think it gave a lot of confidence.
Yeah, I mean that is the fundamental of our company today. Right?
How
Like,
how it helped to shape the product in
yes,
future?
yes. So I mean, so we basically, so fundamentally today, like our product is a coding agent product,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it basically is a developer in a box, right? Or dev team in a box where.
I tried the product. I played with it.
Yes. So the fundamental, the cornerstone, the main, product is itself is the coding agent, which is what we had built in those 2 months. So we were actually built something. So I mean, bunch of things we discovered when we were like building that. For example, we built our own memory, we built our own agent-to-agent communication, we built a multi-agent system, we built context management, we built memory. Bunch of those things, test time compute. A lot of those things were not even a word at that time. Like now, obviously, a lot of those things are popular. Like a lot of memory startups are coming and other things, but we had to sort of invent all of these things in the last 2 months to sort of really like come on top of that benchmark.
So testing, then general coding, and then
Yes.
Product.
Then we started thinking, okay, now we have world's best coding agent, right? Like, what do we do with this? Like, we were convinced that, okay, like, and at that time, Lovable, Bolt, all of these were launching. And we would look at them and saying, okay, like these guys are like, like so behind in terms of technology, like how are they making so much money? But we were very set, okay, we want to solve, like hard coding problems. So we first went to enterprise, right? We started working with PhonePe, right? And
the first client was Indian.
first client, because we were back then, we had moved back to India after that. We were in US for a while, then we moved back to India.
So what exactly you were doing for PhonePe?
We were trying to automate their software development. But they had like, because it was a
But
automate their software development.
software development.
Okay.
Yeah,
So no coders required.
yes, that was our goal.
Yeah.
Right, that, okay, we will at least augment your
That's what
coding.
I grasp from my understanding.
Right.
That Emergent is for people like us
Yes,
who
yes.
do not have any experience in
Right.
tech,
Yes.
but we can build a platform, build a website, build
Right.
an app, build a software
Right.
through a plain text language.
people
or-
with the ideas.
Yeah, anybody like without any knowledge of software, without any knowledge of, like we want to make it as easy as taking a photo from an iPhone. Like imagine like earlier, you need to have like, you had this physical cameras where you had to put a roll, all of those things, right? But
So you work for PhonePe, but when the exact timeline?
yeah, we
for
started
the
working on
product?
PhonePe, and but they didn't have Anthropic models back
Okay.
then. They had only OpenAI models, right?
Okay.
And we tried to make it work, but we realized that like coding, OpenAI was not that great at that time. Now that they're getting really good. So we almost wasted like a lot of time, right? And at some point we realized, okay, this is like too frustrating, right? Like and like we were sitting on world's best coding agent, for 6 months without doing anything. And so we said, okay, let's just launch a consumer product now, right? Like instead of trying to go into enterprise, let's just launch a beta product on the side, and then we'll figure out the enterprise route also, along the way. And what had started happening is that we were starting to use our own tool internally a lot, right? So whatever like work we were doing, we were building apps, dashboards, websites, all of these things, all of the internal tools we were building using our own agent, right? And we could see in practice it was becoming really, really good. And so we thought, and when we launched our first thought, we launched this beta, we still have this launch checklist that, okay, we have to fix copy paste on the product. We have to like fix this, font issue. All of that checklist is still there. We have not been able to go back and fix those. And we had launched this beta product, thinking that, okay, this will be what technical people will use, right? And what we realized that like a lot of people who were using us, starting to use us, were like business owners, like people who are today running their business on WhatsApp, email, spreadsheet, right? And those were users who were coming to us, trying to build a software. A lot of entrepreneurs were coming to us to build, their software on top of us. I mean, yesterday, few days back, somebody told me that somebody raised a $4 million round on a software built on Emergent.
Nice.
And I was at an OpenAI event a couple of days back. One of the VCs told me that 2 out of 5 companies that come to them are built on Emergent now, right? So that's pretty crazy that people are building that now. And so we quickly realized, okay, like we were actually trying to unlock this developer market, right? Like
So when the product hit the market, exact
yes,
time.
yes. This was June last
25.
year. June 25, yes.
So one thing which we experienced from Emergent journey,
Yeah,
we are observing from a distance.
yeah,
But things happened really fast for you guys. So
yeah.
you built something, you guys shook very fast, or the outcome also came really fast. So 2025 to now, it's
Yeah.
9 months. Right?
Yeah, 9 months.
So
10 months.
I think you just describe about the product, कि जो पहला product जो beta
Right.
आपने launch किया. So what was that?
So it is exactly what it looks today.
Okay.
right? Like not much has changed in the product, right? Like so we launched this
उसको
product.
define किया आपने.
I mean, a lot of things have happened behind the scene, right? Like, but the product, the shape of the product is very much similar. That you come in, you type what you want to build. Your agent will come. It'll actually start building the software for you. It'll show you the preview on the right hand side. You can give feedback on, just like you would chat with a developer, you chat with this agent, and agent will start building the product for you. You can deploy with one click. You can download a mobile app, build it. And so when we launched, few things were happening. One was that. I mean, we internally knew that product is going to work, right? Because like we had been testing it, and
You yourself using it many times.
we were using it internally, so we had confidence that okay, product is going to work. But we were not expecting to grow this fast, right? Because it was a beta product. We had a lot of things.
So when you guys observe that product is growing really ultra fast or
Yes.
hyper
Right.
fast.
I mean, first day, first day, because so what we did was we saw that okay, everybody else is growing so fast, right? Like so, I texted like one of my teammates. He asked me that, hey, like how fast should we grow, right? I said, but what is other people's growth rate? And he said this. I said, okay, at least as much as them, right? We should grow, right? And I mean that's it. That was the conversation on the growth. There was no conversation, right? Like so. And when we on the first day, the reception was really really good. Like actually, like few days before launch, we tried it with few beta users, and we had actually just changed the pricing from $10 to $20, right? And on day of $20 price change, there was 0 people on the platform. Nobody bought that product, right? So we thought, okay, oh no, like like maybe the product, maybe we think it's better, but nobody else is liking it. And we put a lot of effort into like a great launch. So like we because the moment we were about to launch, we got very serious. Okay, if this has to work, we know the product is good. Like let's focus on growth. Let's focus on how do we get the word out, because obviously we're coming from behind, right? We already have much bigger brands, which are much ahead of us. So we started thinking about like, hey, what is the fastest way to grow, right? And so we realized that our launch moment is going to be really important, right? And how do we sort of then use YC network, our investor network, to sort of really get the word out. And that's why we shot this first video of our launch. And I think the launch went really, really well for us. Like it was really coordinated.
SF?
Yeah, it was digital launch, right? Okay. So it was online launch, right? But I think that day, first day itself, we got like massive traffic bump, and we could see the revenue scaling like really rapidly, more like faster than we expected.
And
right?
what is the pricing for that?
So we had 2 plans, $20 plan and $200 plan that people could buy.
What is the difference between these two?
$200 plans like has a little bit more features, gives you more advanced, agents and more advanced functionality, and gives you more credits, right? And people can also buy credits on the go, right?
Okay, sure.
So you have a subscription plan, and then as you
Also
build, you
there
can
is a
buy more credits.
$200 plan, I guess, the pro plan or something.
Yeah, pro plan is $200 plan, but people also buy credits on the platform.
So how was the traction in the first month? June to July.
It was really good. I think first 2 months we got to 10 million.
And before that, you closed the seed round?
Seed round was closed in September.
Okay.
September 24.
Institutional round didn't happen till June, or
no. So Together Fund happened in September.
Okay.
Like
September
24, right? And 25th June.
How large the check was?
It was a $5 million check, right? But just before launch, we raised a little bit more money from them,
Okay.
And then Lightspeed round happened in August, right? So just after our launch.
Series A.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so I'll pause you here.
Yeah.
There is an important question. You started in 2012-13 in the US,
Yes.
and you were in India for almost a decade. So the quality of investors also improved a lot, because in deep tech,
right.
You were doing a deep tech thing in AI.
Right.
Together is a new fund.
Yeah.
They backed you. So do you also see the improvement of funds, especially helping the ideas in the more engineering heavy sector like AI or deep tech?
I mean, I think now there is a lot of excitement, right? But back when we started, like I think there was enough excitement, but not enough like understanding, right? I think understanding is now coming, right? Like I would frequently go to US and hear something about like, oh, like Llama 4 is launching and this is the parameter count and stuff like that, and what could it do? And like I will come back to India and 1 month later somebody will tell me the same thing, right? I'm like, okay, yeah, this is 1 month old news, right? So I think the like information asymmetry was there. I think it's getting bridged now, But I'm seeing like lot of new VCs coming, and I think there's a lot of excitement in about AI.
कब आपको समझ में आ गया कि प्रोडक्ट एकदम फटने वाला है, मतलब मार्केट में फोड़ेगा, sort of? You launched in June. I'm talking about after June.
I think first week we knew that product is gonna like.
Is there any responses, appreciation from the consumer or the investor side?
Yeah, we would meet like I would literally meet people on streets of SF, like who had used the product, right? And they would. So first week
And
of,
which are these people who were using?
So
our
these
product?
were like entrepreneurs. These were like a lot of people were like hobbyists also, right? And a lot of people were like business owners who were trying to build their business. A lot of entrepreneurs were building new ideas. And first week I was mostly doing customer service, right? And a lot of people would write to me and I would respond to them. And like I could see that a lot of people were from interaction, right? Like they really cared about the product, right? So they were asking a lot of questions. Why is this happening? Why is the agent not able to do this?
There was a curiosity.
There was a lot of curiosity. There was a lot of excitement. Like they had suddenly found a new power, right? Like that was the feeling that they were getting, and people would write to us that, hey, this is the coolest thing I've ever used. In fact, there was a user who actually wrote to us. He came to our house in SF and took us out for drinks. He was so happy with the product, like first week, right? So we kind of knew that like product is gonna click, right? Of course,
Understood.
like like we didn't expect the growth to be so fast. Yeah.
When did 1 million ARR happen?
Maybe day one.
Day one?
Yeah.
10 million?
I think 2 months.
Okay.
Okay. 50 million?
I don't know. 50 million just happened like in Jan sometime.
And 100 million already.
100 in
crossed.
Feb, yeah.
So what's the target now?
I mean, there are no forward-looking targets. We are very, very focused on just making sure user gets to success, right? Of course, there are internal planning, how that happens. But
So you always want to build a
9
product.
महीने में आप 100x ग्रो किए, तो अगले 9 महीने में क्या, मतलब कुछ तो प्रोजेक्शन होगा.
I mean, we'll see where we land, right? We don't want to give forward-looking projections, right? And but I mean, I think like our growth rate is accelerating right now, right? So we are growing faster than we were before, and we think it's going to continue.
Cool. So I think 100 million ARR, fastest growing AI company globally or in India?
I mean, definitely in India and globally also. In fact, Lovable and Manus were the other two.
I want to make this clear. 100 million ARR globally, number one, fastest, or in India or Southeast Asia?
So we are globally fastest right now.
Globally fastest.
Globally fastest. So the only other two companies are Manus and Lovable, like which got there in 8 months, 100 million. But both of them had like large user base when they started. Like Manus had like a Monica.im, it had millions of users. Lovable had GPT Engineer before they launched, right? So we
Customer split क्या है?
we are the
across
only one
geography.
which started with 0 users, right? And got here in 8 months. Yeah.
नहीं, global और India का
Global
customer.
or India? माने geography wise, Europe.
70%
US.
is outside.
Okay.
Mostly US, 50%.
US, UK, Europe. Is the
US
large.
would be 50%.
70% is US, Europe right now.
US,
Yeah.
Europe.
And team size क्या आपका अभी?
Abhi 70 people.
70
roughly. 20 people engineering, right? And rest is like marketing, ops.
Engineering team in Bangalore,
Most of them are in Bangalore. We have like.
and you look after the engineering team in here.
Yeah, I look after like. I mean, I spend a lot of my time in engineering product.
What's your role? Your and Madhav, how you are divided?
So Maddie looks at a lot more research side of things, right? So like agent building, a lot of those things, and I look at like everything else right now. But I also spend a lot of my time in product and engineering.
तो ये इमर्जेंट का जो बैकएंड है वो रिलाई करता है मोस्टली एलएलएम पे ओपन एआई के साथ या फिर जेमिनी के साथ.
So we use all of them. We use OpenAI, Anthropic, Gemini, and we have our own custom sort of router which figures out which model to use when, right? And that allows us to build better apps because all these models have their own strength right now.
So you were building this with 70 people. Oh, that's
Yeah.
really commendable.
I mean, when we
Because
launched, we had like 15 people.
that's
Yes.
still commendable.
Yes.
70 people at that
Right.
scale, 100 million ARR.
Yes.
I have seen this problem with the Indian company. I don't know whether you agree with me or not. Most of startups are also struggling with overhiring. Do you think so?
I mean, I think I don't think any startup dies because of overhiring. Like I think people take a bet on opportunity size, right, and then they like hire. And I think it's, like as long as your quality bar is good, right? I think like you need to respond to business. Like we are hiring very aggressively right now.
So 70 people mostly from which colleges in India?
Mostly IITs, yeah.
So
And,
we can say 70-80% of the overall strength is from IITs,
maybe more, yeah.
maybe more.
Yeah.
And what kind of people in the US? You also have a team there?
US, we just started hiring. There are 3 people now.
3 people now.
Yeah. So Madhav is there. Then there's a person like who's an ex-YC founder who has just joined us. There is a person from AWS who's just joined us. Yeah.
Okay.
And
मेरे को थोड़ा बिजनेस मॉडल पे पूछना है. जैसे अभी आपने बोला कि आपका जो फाउंडेशनल है वो AI पे ओपन AI पे है या फिर जेमिनी पे है.
right.
आप API
And Anthropic also.
हाँ, Anthropic also.
हाँ.
तो आप API लेते हो उनसे.
Right.
तो उसमें आपका मार्जिन क्या रहता है?
We have very healthy margin. I can't give out margin numbers. Like it's all very competitive right now. Right. And because we're like, always in the market, we have a lot of competition. Like some of these numbers are like, like we don't want to talk about it right now. But we have very, very healthy margin and improving.
Okay. तो इंडिया को भी फाउंडेशनल मॉडल्स बिल्ड करने चाहिए क्या?
I mean, I definitely think India should spend a lot of their energy in building a foundational model, right?
Okay.
I don't think it's going to happen on its own. I think, like you'll have to somehow force it to happen. And I think probably government needs to spend money on it. Some startup like us would want to build that. I think it's important because I don't know if the moment is now, like probably sooner the better, but I just think that like in next 5-6 years, like if you think about, like just like nuclear technology became like really, really critical for safety and for security of the country, right? I think all of these AI systems are going to become like extremely like national security importance, right? And us not having foundational models.
So AI का scene India में क्या है? You have a deep hand into
Right.
AI. So आप कैसे देखते हो इंडिया को? Where we are positioned? And
I mean, I think India has extremely ripe ground to innovate right now. Like we have like largest population base, lot of problems, like deep problems that like only AI can solve. For example, just think about accessibility, right? Like when computers came, right? People still needed to know English to type. They still needed to learn typing to sort of type to interact. Then mobile phone came, at least the typing went away, right? And then sort of video came, so they can actually chat and scroll. So I think like that accessibility has been improving. Now with voice, like voice agents and like when LLM can talk, I think that accessibility gap is going to go completely away. Anybody would be able to access computers and AI. Education, healthcare, defense. I think all of these things are like massive opportunity for us to sort of really innovate and solve. I expect a lot of homegrown, applications companies will come up, and I think India is very ripe for like attacking the application layer right now. Right, foundation model is hard, but that is one. Second, I think AI services can be really big in India. Right, like I think like there's this whole like thesis right now that AI is improving at a much faster rate than it can diffuse in the economy. And we will need some people, who will help diffusion, right? So I think, India should really, really focus on being the Palantir of, AI distribution, right? How do we sort of build that muscle is really important. Third, I think the data layer, right? I think AI is improving really fast, but it still requires a lot of human data. And of course, we have population, like a billion population scale. How do we sort of harness that to become the data factory for AI? I think those things are going to be important. And of course, like at some point we should spend time in research, foundation model also. I think that's going to be critical.
So will we again end up becoming a farming ground for likes of Google, Amazon, or let's say Microsoft, Anthropic, or OpenAI? Because whatever happened in the wave one,
right,
the US companies dominated, right, in India. We were not able to build that sort of companies. So आपको क्या लगता है कि in the AI, will we end up becoming the same thing, or some share will be also owned by us?
I mean, I think I think India has a big opportunity to sort of own the application layer, right? That's what we are trying to do.
Everybody, India is the farming ground for ChatGPT.
Right.
Even for you guys or
Yes.
whosoever is doing OpenAI,
Right.
Anthropic, everybody has a...
I mean, India has a good base for DAO, and
MAO.
data, DAO, MAO, data. I think, but I think we also reap the benefit, right? Like we get these services free and other things.
Will we also be end up making big companies in AI space? Because
We will. Emergent will be really big.
So you
I mean,
have
one of my
been-
goal has been to build a Google and Facebook from India, right? And I definitely think that we have like the in terms of opportunity, it's a very level playing field. Like I feel that like everybody in India has the same opportunity, right? I think they just need to dream big, and this is the time when you should just think like very ambitious and think really, really big. And I think people can make it happen right now.
So you have been to Google in US, right?
Yeah.
And now you are building Emergent in India or globally.
Right.
So I just want to know the quality of engineers in US and in India. How good are they? Like,
Yeah, because I think
Right.
engineers are going to make the difference because they are
I
going
think
to
I
build
think
the AI
engineering quality
application.
is really high in India.
as you said कि आपने 4 लोगों को रूम में बंद किया and
Right.
2 महीने में उनको भी पीछे छोड़ दे जो कि
Right.
Amazon थे या जो
Right,
भी ये Microsoft वगैरह
No,
करते
I think see India is very talent rich,
Mhm.
right? And
टैलेंट रिच तो हैं हम लोग, एआई में भी हैं क्या?
सीख सकते हैं. I think it's not that hard, right? And think especially like because like it's getting easier and easier to build things also.
Don't you think गवर्नमेंट को थोड़ा और करना चाहिए एआई स्पेसिफिक कोर्सेज कॉलेजेस, जैसे आईआईटी born out of need requirement at
Right.
that point of time there was no quality engineering colleges, so IT came up.
I think government should like force the like top IT students to work in India for 3 years when they graduate, so that brain drain is less. And
So you think most of the Indian engineers are going abroad and they are doing amazing things in AI?
I mean, a lot of people are going abroad, right? I think like I think half of my batch is abroad probably, right?
And
More
they
than
are
half.
doing good things in.
They're all building great stuff, right? And I don't think India has a problem of talent. I think it's the problem of like
Brain drain.
currently
resources or
Yeah, I mean, I think like capital needs to come. I think people need to be ambitious. People need to believe that they can do things, right? And I think I would probably just put a lot of money into like startup and entrepreneurship if I was government because
Quality of life is also forcing them to go outside, or because you stay in India and the US, both.
I mean, I think different people have different aspiration, right? I think quality of work, like obviously, is probably what is driving a lot of people to move right now.
Okay, so एक जो बहुत important चीज because of AI,
Yes.
are people going to lose job because of AI? That's the in every office, in every working class or community,
Right.
this discussion is rife.
I mean, I strongly believe that like jobs will change.
Okay.
Right. Like
How it will change? Can you?
so one
throw some
like people will everybody sort of elevates to the higher level function, right? Like a coder was spending a lot of his time coding now, like will spend a lot more time in architecting, reviewing. They will sort of do a work of a product manager. They will do a work of a designer. I think roles are going to start merging. Like you'll start seeing what required diverse set of skills now a single person can do because you have an AI expert which can sort of do. For example, let's say if I have to do marketing, I can actually have a marketing agent which will do marketing for me. I don't need like a marketing team. Sorry, Prashant. And but yeah, I think
so
like,
which segment
yes.
of the job will be impacted with AI? कौन सा एक segment होगा जहाँ पे
I think all segments.
all segments.
And do you think mediocre people will be wiped out? You have to elevate
Yes.
or go out because AI will.
I think top 1% will get extremely leveraged. Like they will have, if you are creative, if you are good at
But
problem
how to
solving.
bring inclusive growth? That 1% is good, but
Yeah, I think the only way is to like be very like aggressively learning AI right now. Like that 1% will be people who actually know how to use AI the best. Right?
Okay.
It's not going to be people who are the smartest. Like it's not people. Like it's going to be people who actually got on. For example, I got into programming much earlier, right? When I was 12, right? I think anybody who's getting into AI right now, right, like will have massive edge because it's going to compound very quickly, right? And if you can see that with every new sort of series of model, like for example now Opus is there, like the way we prompt it, the way we work with it, is very different from the older models, right? So people who are curious, people who want to learn very quickly.
What would be your advice to people who are in panic because of AI? They would.
I would just say like go all in on AI and learn, right? Like whatever you're doing right now, try to automate it. Use Emergent to build apps, use Emergent to build agents, right? You should like Emergent is actually a really good way to get onboarded on AI right now because it helps you learn how to work with an agent, right? Most of our work will start happening where you are just directing an agent to do your work, right? And I would just say that people should one be very curious. Second,
काफी इंजीनियर्स आपसे नफरत भी करते होंगे because you were eating up their job, right?
I mean, I don't think anybody wants to do a job, right? Like, I think, like, I mean, if you look at it, like, people, even farming...
Developer used to be one of the handsome and highest paid job in India.
Yes, but when you can get, like, at least I feel the future would be where people will not have to work for money, right? And everybody will have enough money that...
What would be your suggestion to developers or coders?
I would just say, like, hey, become the best at using AI, right? Like, and you'll probably earn like 1,000x more, maybe 10,000x more because you'll have so much leverage, right? That if you are somebody who can actually like command this technology really well, like their value is going to increase exponentially, right? So, I mean, for example, like, internally we've started thinking about a metric that what is developer salary and how much token spend are they doing on coding right now. Like that should match, right? So, अगर मैं developer को 1 crore की salary दे रहा हूँ, तो at least 1 crore token spend होना चाहिए उसके साथ, right? ताकि it's useful, right? And I think this is going to increase even multifold. Like people are going to spend millions of dollars. One single developer will spend millions of dollars of token, right, while building a software. And people who can actually like control that kind of spend. Like imagine a single developer having $1 million budget, right, to sort of spend. And that's going to happen very soon.
Get good command on AI, otherwise you are in soup, even if you're a developer or coder.
No matter what role is, right? If you are not, like on AI right now, like I think there'll be like class separation that's going to happen.
Sure.
जैसे पहले था कि unpad and literate लोग थे, right? I think same thing is going to happen. Like people who know AI, people who do not know AI. But also AI is going to get easier. So like that gap is probably less. But I feel that like people who jump now and are building with AI native companies, they will have significant leverage in going forward.
So as a country, you have been in limelight for past week, I guess, 5-6 days since the AI
Yes.
summit is happening. So how these kind of events, initiatives help?
I mean, I think it's an
emerging technology
amazing.
like AI.
How was the experience? Like,
It was an amazing experience.
Okay.
Like honestly, I felt that, and I know there are a lot of people who were claiming that hey, like disorganized other things. I think it doesn't matter. I think that it just got everybody in the country excited, right, about AI. I remember I saw kids, like who were like super excited about AI, and I definitely feel that doing this like really energized the entire country. And I think we need more and more of this, even if it is symbolic in many ways, right? Like just to sort of wake up the country and get people excited about AI. My overall experience was like amazing.
so there are many stalls at AI Summit
Yes.
for the AI companies. So what do you think? Are they doing good enough to be better at some point of time?
I mean, some of those things are not that relevant, I would say,
Okay.
right? Like, I mean, I think what is relevant is that like entire country got excited about it, right? A lot of people like now know about AI. A lot of people are thinking about it, right? Like we got like luminaries of AI in the country to sort of spend time.
I think this is a start.
This is a start,
Startup India,
exactly.
when started in 2016,
Yes,
it used to be a small initiative,
Yeah.
but now it has grown up and become a giant.
Right. Yeah. I just hope that like we sort of back it up with enough capital, enough commitments going forward. Yeah.
1 to 10 scale, where you see India in terms of AI now and 5 years down the line.
I mean, I would say probably 6 right
Now.
now.
Okay.
Right now, yes.
And where do you see the score 5 or 10 years down the line?
I mean, I would hope to be 10, right?
Okay.
And I think we should work towards that.
And which country?
I mean, US is
gets 10
10,
marks?
probably China is 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Can you talk a little bit about Chinese AI ecosystem, very briefly, how they are doing?
I mean, I
And
think
what
they're
we
doing
could learn
that.
for them.
They also
Because
have
we
their
are also learning from
foundational
the US.
DeepSeek.
Yeah, I think they're doing really well. I think if you look at like, I mean, I think China has, except the chips, right? I think that is their disadvantage right now. I think they have everything else that they need to become a AI superpower. Like they can manufacture at a much faster rate. They're like the power, like their capacity to produce power is, more than anybody else right now in the world, right? And they have the research, they have the talent, they can mobilize really quickly, right? I think they're in a very strong position, right, from that perspective. I think they're also spending a lot of time in building the foundational research that is required to stay ahead. I mean, there are many ways in which the world will play out. One could be that some of these technologies get commoditized very quickly, right? Like where models, all the models sort of starts plateauing and then nobody has advantage, and it sort of gets democratized very quickly, right? But there's another world where one of the model companies or the country sort of compounds very quickly, right? And it'll be hard to catch up to them. At that point, I think like you have superpower, right? Like I mean, almost godlike power, right? Like which is controlled by a few people, right? And that is a dangerous place to be. Yeah.
Kunal has some now rapid fire questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please conclude.
तो इससे रैपिड फायर क्वेश्चन सर
Right.
तो फटाफट जवाब देंगे फटाफट
I'll try my best.
या सो वन वर्ड फॉर एआई
One word for
एआई
magic.
वन वर्ड फॉर प्रेशर
Cooker.
ओके
What was the first word coming to my mind?
India in AI, bold or curious?
Curious.
रिप्लेस इंजीनियर यस और नो
Yes.
Stability or scale?
Scale.
Build fast or build right?
Build fast.
One thing you are unlearning. Coding?
No. I'm just thinking, what am I unlearning right now? I think like there are a lot of ways of old organization building that I'm trying to unlearn right now, because like I think new organizations are going to
You
look
want
very
to shed the
different.
baggage.
I think a lot of the old practices were built for like large factories, and I think fundamentally the way sort of like if you look at any management book that you read, right, I think they're all built on like large production line, large factories. Most of the organization design is designed that way, right? And at least internally, I'm spending a lot of my time fundamentally rethinking how orgs of the future is going to look like, right? And when like you have one person who has so much leverage, how do we sort of decentralize decision making a lot? So I mean that's one thing that I'm unlearning right now. Yes.
Stability or scale?
Scale.
One fear you don't say publicly.
I mean, I think there's a very like strong possibility that that we have a rogue AI that's going to come, and I mean, if you look at the world right now, like the camp is divided between people who believe in AGI, people who don't believe in AGI, right? And if you believe in AGI, like then you also have to consider that there's a strong possibility that like you have a rogue AI where you have Terminator, you have Matrix, like all of those things are like really really likely and possible, right? And I think us not having enough conversation about that, right, is hard, right? Is very fearful right now. Yeah.
One habit that changed your life.
For good or for bad, I don't know. I think I generally take really fast decisions,
Okay.
right, and commit to them in a big way. I think that has helped.
What you perceive of Entrackr? By any chance? You
So I mean,
guys-
Entrackr, like I always like started noticing when you guys started publishing all of the MCA and ROC and stuff. You guys were the first to always get the news, and I like for me like it has always been the top source of funding news, and I see your weekly this thing. That is one thing that I don't read news anymore, but that's one thing I read pretty frequently. Yes.
Your favorite founder in the Indian ecosystem?
I think Dipinder probably.
Okay.
Okay. One thing which you strongly relate with your home state, Bihar.
I think culture is really strong. Like I think the like value system and I think the humility. I think those things are really strong in Bihar.
Any Bihari food you you prefer sometimes?
I mean, I
you
like
fond
my
of?
home cooked food a lot. I actually I like Punjabi food a lot more because my
You grew up in
I was
Chandigarh.
Chandigarh. So
Rajma chawal, chole
Rajma
chawal.
chale. I mean, all of those things. I went home last night.
Mhm.
Was really happy I got home food.
Great.
This
So, Emergent has some sort of retention problem, yes or no?
No.
Thank you so much, Mukund. You took some time. You have a hackathon going on
Yes.
in IT Delhi.
Right.
Thank you so much for this. Looking forward to see you again.
No, amazing. Thank you for inviting me. It was really fun being here, and would love to meet more often. Yes.
Thank you so much,
Amazing.
sir. It was very nice talking to you.
Thank you. Amazing. Thank you for building this brand.
That was Mukund Jha's story on Not Just Business, a journey of taking risk, moving fast, and building big. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with someone who dreams of building something of their own.